seen a few things in my time, but I've not flown on an eagle's back till today. Well, now that it's a bit easier to talk, let me thank you properly for saving our lives and bid you welcome to Nordinbad, our home. Nordri's father, the Lord Gorin, will want to speak with you. Nordri's gone ahead to report on the Gundabad raid and to tell him about everything you did for us.
Why did you lead your warriors against Mount Gundabad?
We keep a careful watch on the orcs in the mountains. When we saw them gathering in large numbers at Gundabad, we had reason to believe they were preparing to move against us here. We didn't like our chances against that many orcs, but we knew about the hidden weapon at Gundabad, so Nordri and I led a small force there to use it against them.
Seemingly there was no returning from such a mission, yet you undertook the task willingly.
Aye, every dwarf was a volunteer and knew he wouldn't be coming back.
But you said Nordri is Gorin's son. He allowed his heir to undertake such a mission?
He didn't have a choice. After a lifetime of lecturing the lad about his duty to his people, there was no way Gorin could say no when Nordri volunteered, much as he'd have liked to.
What can you tell us of the device you used to collapse the ceiling at Gundabad? In all my long years of study, I have heard of nothing like it.
It was an ancient defense made by the dwarves who delved Gundabad long ago. Nobody understood the qualities of stone better than the dwarves of old, and they knew that just the right sound can cause solid stone to split. They used that knowledge to build a defense against any enemy who might force their way past the gates of their home.
But Mount Gundabad has been an orc hold for centuries. How did you know about this weapon?
Aye, it's been in the hands of the orcs for many a year, but not straight through. I was only a lad when my people fought a great war against the orcs, when my father helped sack Gundabad. He was one of the stoneworkers who found the weapon. It made a big impression on him, and he told me the tale so many times I was sure I could find the thing and use it against the orcs.
But how could you be certain it would still work after all those centuries?
We didn't. The whole thing was a gamble. Luckily it paid off.
Might I assume that you have such a defense here at Nordinbad?
Some things are best left secret, I think.
Do you think the orcs will pursue us?
Escaping on eagles like we did will throw them off the trail a bit, but it won't be long before they realize it was a group of dwarves that hit them first, and that'll get them thinking about us here. It's not like they're not thinking about Nordinbad anyway, but I'll let Gorin tell you more about that.
We are pleased to be made welcome here, but in the rush of battle and our hurried escape, I fear we missed your name.
Oh, confound me for an old fool! Bruni, son of Bane, at your service and your families. I'm captain of the Nordinbad Guard and a servant of Lord Gorin.
We traveled many leagues over many high mountains to reach this place. I know we traveled east, but beyond that, I am not certain where we may be.
Aye, it's east you've come, clean over the Misty Mountains and along the length of the Grey Mountains. You've left the lands of Eriador behind. You're on the northern edge of the land of Rovanian now.
We would be pleased to speak with Lord Gorin.
Just make your way past the doors you see yonder and you'll find him within. The guards have been instructed to let you pass.
I suspect I'm the first man to see the inside of these halls.
I am certain I am the first elf to do so.
You should not keep the lord of these halls waiting.
Here, sire, those I spoke of. Allow me to present to kinsman, Farin of Erebor, and also Andriel and Eridan, his companions. We succeeded in our task, and I live to tell of it, thanks only to their aid.
You are most welcome here, kinsman, and no less so your companions, be they man, elf, or eagle. Welcome all to Nordinbad, last hall of the Longbeards in the Grey Mountains. You have returned to me, my son and my oldest friend, whom already I mourned as lost. For this, you will forever have my gratitude and the hospitality of these halls. Know that this is not something lightly given, for never before have we allowed any but our own folk to pass these gates, and no eyes have gazed upon the hidden lake of Azanzaram, save those of our close kindred. Yet for what you have done, I will gladly lay aside our ancient oath of secrecy.
You are Longbeards? Then you are of Durin's folk, and close kin to foreign.
Aye. In centuries past, most of our kin called these mountains home. But then the dragons came from the far north. One by one, our halls were lost or abandoned. All but Nordinbad. We alone endured those dark times. And thanks to you, we may hope to endure our current troubles as well.
What can you tell me of your home?
My great-great-grandsire was the first to enter the caves of this mountain, where he discovered the hidden lake we call Azanzaram. He was awed by its beauty, and led some of his kin here. Slowly, over many long years, with loving hands and careful chisels, we created the halls you see before you. Nordinbad was never rich in gold or jewels, but its beauty would move even the most cold-hearted dwarf. That is why we have remained here for so long. There is not a dwarf among us who would not choose death over exile from our home.
It is beautiful, and I am honored to behold it.
May I ask how it was you happened to be in so unlikely a place as Mount Gundabad? One does not go lightly into so foul a pit.
We were hunting a black-hearted servant of the enemy. He goes by the name of Agendour.
Agendour. We are familiar with that one. Curse his black heart.
He appeared before our gates some weeks past, and called us to parley, in the name of Sauron the Great, so he said.
If only we had been here. Together with your warriors, we might have finished him then and there. If ever one deserved death, it is he.
I dare say he does. Yet I would not tarnish the honor of Nordinbad by attacking an emissary seeking to parley, even one foul enough to serve the Lord of Mordor.
We have sought that one for many days across many leagues. Where can he be found?
We cannot say. Yet I'm certain he wasn't at Mount Gundabad. The orcs were too easily surprised and slow to respond to our attack. There was no sign of strong leadership there.
With those flying beasts at his command, he might be anywhere.
What did he ask of you?
He demanded that we yield ourselves up to the mercy of Sauron, as if there was any mercy in the Dark Lord.
He lays claim to Nordinbad, telling us if we turn over our halls and riches without a fight, our lives will be spared, and we will be free to seek a new home elsewhere.
Of course, we would have nothing of that. When we defied him, he grew wrathful, threatening us with the fiery doom that overtook our ancestors.
Fiery doom? I wonder why he chose such words.
I fear he may have allied himself with the dragon Orgast who dwells in these parts. With such a beast at his command, we would have little hope of resisting him.
There are dragons still to be found in the world? I had hoped that Smaug was the last of his kind.
Alas, no. There are dragons still to be found in these mountains, and yet more dwell in the wastes beyond. They may not be as great or wicked as was Smaug, but they are large and evil enough. Make no mistake about that.
Dragons are wicked creatures, but proud. Could even Agendour command one to serve?
Perhaps not on his own account, but if he speaks for the Dark Lord, even Orgast would think twice before offending him.
Dragons are wicked creatures, and their greed knows no bounds. Agendour only has to name the right price.
Maybe we should go after this dragon before he comes after us.
Well, destroy Orgast? If only it were that simple. The attack on Gundabad would be a peaceful stroll around the lake in comparison. Nay, if it were so easy to slay dragons, there would be many more dwarves still dwelling in these mountains.
Orgast has never taken notice of us before. We rather hoped it would stay that way.
They say it does not pay to leave a live dragon out of your calculations if you live near one.
We can't let Agendaur have such a beast under his command.
Even Imladris would be no haven against dragonfire. Where will we find Urgast?
You do not lack for courage, I will grant you. Yet we know not where the dragon dwells. No dwarf has discovered his lair and lived to tell of it.
Perhaps Radagast knows this secret, or can discover it. Seems there is little that happens in Wilderland that escapes his notice.
You speak of Radagast the Brown, one of the Astari, the Order of Wizards.
So you know him, do you?
We have never met, yet often I have heard him spoken of. He is said to be skilled in the lore of all herbs and beasts, especially birds. Do you know where he may be found?
He dwells within the forest of Mirkwood, away to the south. Perhaps your companion Belaram would know where to find him, for it is said that Radagast is a friend to the Lord of Eagles himself.
We should travel to Mirkwood. If Radagast knows as much as you say, it is certain to be worthwhile.
Indeed. But before you set out, please accept a token of our gratitude. Seek out my steward Galar. I have instructed him to open our vaults to you. I believe you may find something within that will be of service in the days ahead. We would be honored if you would accept a token of our gratitude. Find my steward Galar. I have instructed him to present you with some of our finest work. Choose whatever you will, and may it serve you well.
The lake is indeed lovely. Did your kin create it?
Nay, my ancestors discovered Azanzaram even as you see it. We have worked with care to enhance what we found. A chip here, a tap there, fashioning bridges, halls, and tunnels. But always, we have taken care to preserve the great gift we were given.
I thank you for your generosity, Lord Gorin.
I still can't believe I'm alive. I thought I would draw my last breath in the fetid air of Mount Gundabad. Mind you, I'm not complaining.
What will you and your people do now?
I'm afraid we're all out of tricks to play. All we can do is prepare our defenses, hunker down and wait for whatever the winds of war might blow our way.
Tell me of your father, Gorin. Is he a king?
King? Oh, no. He is merely the Lord of Nordinbad. We acknowledge Dane Ironfoot as the rightful king of the Longbeards. Not that he has any idea of our existence.
Someday you may be Lord of Nordinbad. Will you seek a reunion with your sundered kin when that day comes?
Secrecy has always preserved us here before, but it can't do so for much longer. We are a dwindling folk, and this war has only made that worse. Nordinbad is precious, but I see little point in leaving it empty. If we survive the days ahead, we will seek out our kin. My father sees the need for this as well. Were it not so, I wouldn't have dared bring you and your friends to our hidden halls.
What can you tell me of Bruni, the other dwarf who survived Mount Gundabad?
Bruni is the captain of our guard, the terror to the orcs of these mountains. He's been my father's best friend since long before I was born, and he taught me how to wield an axe, and what it means to serve.
It sounds as if you have traveled in Mirkwood before.
I've been around it a lot more than in it, and that suits me just fine. I don't care for that wood. Don't know how anyone could. But I've often traveled to the eaves of the forest to trade with the Bjornings who live thereabout. It was on such a trading venture that I happened to meet Radagast.
Who are these people, the Bjornings?
A hardy folk, and brave, as any who dwell between Mirkwood and the Misty Mountains would need to be. Under their chieftain, Grimbjorn, they've kept the mountain passes and river crossings open, even in these troubled times. But I've heard rumors of war on their borders of late. The high passes may now be closed, at least to those without the benefit of eagle wings.
Can you tell me more of Radagast?
He's an unusual sort, friend to all beasts and birds. To be honest, I don't think he cares much for dwarves, but maybe he just prefers the company of animals. One thing's certain, There are few people with more knowledge of this part of the world. He even spoke of Nordinbad as if it were common knowledge.
Do you believe we will prove a match for Urgost?
It's not that I doubt your courage and skill, and I'd be mighty glad to no longer have a dragon as a neighbor. But truthfully, I wonder if anyone can overcome such a beast. I just hope your luck proves equal to your daring.
What will you and your people do now?
I'm afraid we're all out of tricks to play. All we can do is prepare our defenses, hunker down and wait for whatever the winds of war might blow our way.
I wish you good fortune, whatever may befall. Farewell, Audrey.
You're a strange-looking creature. You must be the elf I've been hearing about. You look like a stiff wind could blow you over. But I suppose appearances can be deceiving. Are you here to buy something? I've an excellent stock of the best Nordinbad craftwork, so speak up. Time's a-wasting.
Are you always this cheerful?
Well, let's see. We've got an orc army growing, a dragon hungry for dwarf snacks, and one of Sauron's lieutenants making threats. Pardon me while I break out in a song and dance. Now see here, I need to do some business, so how's about you buy something before I get downright grumpy?
You must need to travel far afield to find trade.
We've had a rough time of it here, I won't deny it. Mostly we managed some trade with the Bjornings, the men who live down south of us in the Vales of the Anduin. They've good use for our metalwork, and they bring us foodstuffs in return. Otherwise, there'd be mushrooms for breakfast, mushrooms for lunch, and mushrooms for dinner. You wouldn't believe how many ways we've learned to cook mushrooms. That's enough jabbering. If you're not going to buy something, let me get back to my work.
Goran sent me to you. He said I should speak with you to receive a token of his gratitude.
Yes. He may have mentioned it to me. It was rather too generous of him. Not that I don't appreciate what you did, but how does he expect me to increase our wealth by giving our best work away? Well, here you go. Take your pick.
Now, here's a sight. I hear tell there was an elf come to visit. Word of you has spread like a beard on fire. Never seen an elf before. Had no idea your kind could be so fierce. But I hear you hit the enemy hard. Well done. So, how can I help you today?
Dwarves can be a secretive folk, especially when they guard a valuable secret. Could it be that you found mithril here?
Aye, we've no such wealth as mithril here. Not that I haven't dreamt of finding a vein of true silver. I work iron and a bit of ordinary silver or gold. A few gems here and there. Mostly we hide to escape the notice of the dragons. Bad blood between dwarves and dragons as well, you know. And then there's all the orcs. Ah, but I dream of a day when we could trade for finer goods. I've been working on a silver belt studded with crystal, with a special mount for the gem I crave above all others. The gem that comes from no mine.
What sort of gem would that be?
Pearls! The most perfect and beautiful of precious things. How they glimmer and gleam. I've hoarded a small handful of white pearls, but even those won't satisfy me for this belt. My dream of perfection is nothing less than the fabled Black Pearl. I've heard rumor of them, but I fear I'll never see one.
If I should have the good fortune to find one of these black pearls, I will bring it to you.
Mighty good of you. You'll find me generous should you return. I mean, when you return. Anything else I can do for you?
That odor, is that your beard burning?
Well, hard to be a smith without getting a few sparks in your beard. What do you expect when you're working with a hammer and forging hot metal? They've taken to calling me Burry Birdbeard. Used to have a beard down to my belt. Well, shorter is safer. Long as you keep a bucket of water handy, there's nothing to worry about.
How great are your skills as a smith?
I'm no braggart, but I'll put my skills up against any smith, dwarf, elf, or man. You may think I don't know much, being set apart from others of my craft. But I'll tell you a little secret. My grandsires go back all the way to the smiths that worked alongside the great elven smith, Celebrimbor himself. In the days of ancient Erigian, there was a great friendship between elves and dwarves. We've passed down skills from forgotten times. I know runes of power and other secrets that give my weapons and armor a hidden strength you'll not find elsewhere. You won't complain about my work.
You speak of Celebrimbor, the ringmaker?
None was a greater craftsman of jewels and forger of metals than Celebrimbor, who was Lord of Erigian. Close friend he was to Narvi, the great stonemaster, and to my grandsires. He even made 7 rings of power for the dwarves. It was Celebrimbor who knew that Sauron had betrayed the elves by making 1 ring. He heard the enemy declare himself master over all. He was killed in the first war against Sauron, and many of his secrets were lost. Narvi and his kin were lost as well. Only one of my ancestors escaped to carry the tale. So it's been told from grandsire to me.
Erigian fell long before I was born. What do you know of it?
The lore passed down from my grandsires is little enough. That Erigian lay west of the Misty Mountains near Moria. That the elves of Erigian were of a kind known as Noldor, and were clever craftsmen. The Noldor didn't know in the beginning that Sauron was evil. Sauron came to Erigian and taught them how to forge rings of power. But after Sauron was revealed, he invaded Erigian and destroyed it. Nearly 5,000 years ago, that was. Doubt there's much left of the place now. But Sauron's fixing to do the same thing all over again. Even here in the far north.
I never thought to find such comforts within walls of cold stone.
I can't believe what I've heard. You're actually setting out to find the dragon? We spent many long years trying not to be found by one. But the three of you did walk into Mount Gundabad alone, and you lived to tell the tale. So if anyone has a chance against Urgost, it might be you. Ordinarily, I'd be dead set against riling up a dragon. It seems Agendaur has already done that. So I'll just wish you luck and let it go at that.
What about you here? Do you believe Nordinbad will be safe after what we accomplished at Mount Gundabad?
We killed hundreds of orcs when the roof came down at Gundabad. Maybe thousands if we're lucky. That's all the fewer to march against us here. But that just means we went from certain defeat to likely defeat. If the dragon joins up with Agendaur, we're right back at certain again.
Do you believe it would be better if we did not seek out the dragon?
Who can say? It's more you I'm worried about than us here. Bold you may be, but dragons are dragons.
Dragons have been overcome before. It is better we face him now, on our terms, rather than waiting for him to attack our homes. Farewell, Brody.
Mirkwood is a place I prefer to fly over, not into, but we are ready to go.
You know Radagast well.
The Brown Wizard has been a close friend of the Eagles since he first came to Middle-earth and settled into the forest that is now called Mirkwood, even before it came to have that dark name. That was long before I was born, but I have visited with him many times in his home at Rosgobel when I would bring him news from afar. But I have not seen him since he abandoned Rosgobel.
Radagast lived there for centuries. Why would he abandon it?
He was gone from his home before I could ask. But there has been a growing threat and darkness in the south of Mirkwood. I believe Rosgobel is no longer safe, even for a wizard. But fear not. I know Radagast's favored places in the north of Mirkwood. We will find him, or I will bring you to a place you are likely to find him at the very least.
We must hope Radagast can tell us where to find Urgost. Have you ever faced a dragon before?
No. That is a risk I have gladly avoided. One does not willingly seek out a dragon unless there is no choice.
Do you fear dragons?
Only a fool would not fear a dragon. If Urgost has survived this long, he must be full of the guile and cunning of his kind, abominations that they are. And this will make him even more dangerous. But that changes nothing. If we must prevent his alliance with Agendaur, then fear must be set aside and the dragon found. We should follow Gorin's advice and seek Urgost's whereabouts from Radagast.
I thought it a rare thing that you offered your aid to us, and hardly expected 2 more eagles to do the same.
Armanel is a seasoned warrior, but you need not take my word. Ask them yourself.
What if it is too late to stop Agendaur? I may be needed more urgently in Imlodris if he should strike before we can find him.
There is great power in Imlodris, enough to withstand this threat for a time. If you remained, you would be but one of many in a larger fight with little hope at the end. For even Imladris must fall if Urgost joins with the enemy. Trust in the wisdom of Elrond. He has set you a task that he believes you can achieve. Together, we will do what must be done to bring down Agandawa. Only then will your home and our areas be safe.
You speak wisely, Belleron. Forgive my doubts. Whatever end awaits us, we will meet it together.
You have but to say the word, and we will press on.
We will be departing soon.
We will be ready. Mirkwood is a place I prefer to fly over, not into, but we are ready to go.
We must hope.
No,
You know Radagast.
the Brown Wizard has been. That was long before I was born, but I have visited with him in
I thought it a rare
Armanel. But you need not take my word. Ask them yourself. They will gladly speak with you if you so desire.
You know Radagast.
The Brown Wizard has been. That was long before I was born, but I have.
Radagast lived there.
He was gone from. But fear not. I know
Then we must travel to Mirkwood.
we will be ready.